and you are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and the playoff-bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. Why are Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They've always sucked, and they will always suck. The Eagles suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody at all out there going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Anybody got anything to say, just please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I check on the chat box like every like 5 or 10 minutes or so. So anything gets put in there, I check on, I see, and I respond to. So please fire away. All right. And I said, once again, anybody spends any time watching this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Before I get started, anybody want to help support my channel? It would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link, it takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them, right? There's loyalty badges, which are pretty cool. There's 8 different loyalty badges. Each one is a different Giants helmet with a different logo on it. The older the helmet and logo are, the longer you've been a supporter of my channel. Now, there's 8 different helmets. The last one is a leather helmet. Okay, so if you get yourself a leather helmet, right, man, you are the bomb, huh? But there's also 4 different emojis I had them made up on Fiverr. I say this every video. I say every time I look at them, they crack me up. I get a kick out of them. They're pretty freaking funny. Eventually, there will be a 5th one coming up, but right now there's 4 of them, okay? So I said, anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go down below, hit that subscribe button, okay? Hit that and hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge, all right? And then finally, also, in the description box, there's 3 more links. Okay, they're Facebook links. The top Facebook link, all right, takes you to a group I have. It's called New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group, okay? There's over 1,900 members in there. Okay, every day we're getting, we're picking up some additional members all the time. Right now, as I said, I posted some stuff in there today. There's also, the nice thing about in the group, okay, is when you join the group, all right, is that not only do I post stuff in there, as I said, it's like a 7-day. It's not so much a job. When you're doing something you really enjoy, you're not working at all. You never work a day in your life. Well, that's pretty much what this is. It does take time though. Okay, so every day I spend like an hour and a half on the YouTube video. Then I spend about another hour and a half on the Facebook group, and then there's a page I'll be going over in a minute. But on the Facebook group here, okay, as I said, if you become a member, okay, the great thing about that is that, not only do I, post stuff in there, but if you become a member, right, you can post stuff in there as well too. Okay. And as I said, not only do I post stuff in there every day, but there's stuff getting put in there by the members as well too. All right. Then also, there's 2 additional links in the description box below to it for Facebook as well too. Okay. The bottom one is this day in Giants football history. Okay. That's a page. If you want to click on that and like and follow it, that would be absolutely fantastic. The thing is that between the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, and the Facebook page, I'm spending probably close to 3 hours every day. It just takes up time. It's not a hassle or anything like that. It just takes up time. And between doing this and other things, I just don't have enough time in the day to do that. Eventually, that page, This Day in Giants Football History, I will start dedicating more and more time to, but unfortunately right now I don't have the time. The middle link, the middle Facebook link, it's to a page, okay? It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a page, okay? I'm the administrator. Basically, I'm the only one who posts anything in there, but it says the same thing as with the group. I spend like half an hour, 45 minutes every day just posting stuff in there every day, 7 days a week without fail. Now, so between the group and the page, I'm putting like between just pictures, maybe a post I see, or video or something like that. I'm putting like 5 to 10, at least easily 5 to 10 new things in the page and the group every day. Okay. And I don't commingle them. So basically what it is if whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group, and whatever I post in the group, I don't put in the page. So if you go to the Giants page, the New York Giants Gridiron page, if you like it and follow it, okay, you'll see new stuff every day. And as I said, the same thing, go to the group and become a member of that, and you'll see different stuff. I mean, you'll get at least 15 to 20 new things every day, between whether it's just a picture, whether it's a post, or whether it's like a video I see or a video I make or whatever, every day. So, I mean, if you're not satisfied, as I say all the time, you're not satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right. So do yourself a favor. I mean, it's not like stuff from the maybe a little bit of history in there, but it's a lot of it's just like up to date stuff as well, too. All right. So it keeps yourself up to date on what's going on. All right. So with all that stuff out of the way, boy, I'll tell you, to be or not to be, that is the question. To play or not to play, that is the question. It's a tough one. I mean, Coach Dable said he was talking about, you only get 17 of these. We intend to play. Okay. But he also mentioned about like Friday night. I believe it was Friday night. He was going to talk about him and Oshane were going to go have a meeting and discuss about, who's going to be active, I guess not active, or also could wind up possibly bringing itself down to maybe like Adoree Jackson being active on the sideline, maybe getting in there for maybe 10, 15 reps. It would be freaking awesome. It would be, I mean, if he's able to. Dory says he's ready. You got coaches wants to see, does he want to, sit him, fully rest him for another week? I believe that Dory thinks it would actually behoove him to get in there. And I'll tell you what, if you're gonna go up either against AJ Brown or DeVonta Smith, all right, go for it, brother. Right? And I'm not saying that could have put him in there the whole game. Absolutely freaking not. But I said, can they put him in there for me? I mean, Azeez Ojulari played 7 snaps last week. Now, I'm not sure if that was just because his ankle was really bad and he couldn't handle it or what. But, he only played 7 snaps. I'm saying, but the same thing here, right? Get a little bit of his legs underneath him, get a little more acclimated, because the guy's been out for a long time. Just now, all of a sudden, it's the playoffs, right? And you throw him out there, right? All right, go get him, Adoree. And Adoree winds up, not performing as well as he should. So I would think, of course, don't mean what I think, but if he's able to play, I would put him in there for 10 or 15 snaps. If you line him up against, if you don't want him to go up against AJ Brown, if you want him to try to cover DeVonta Smith or vice versa, or it doesn't matter who he goes up against, whatever, put him out there. And I'm certainly not saying, for the whole game. I said, if you want to put him out there for, a drive in the first half and a drive in the second half, right? put them out there for a drive. I mean, whether the Eagles get, 6, 7, 8, 9 plays, whatever it might wind up being, take them off, let them sit on the sideline. How do you feel? How you feeling? How you feeling? Feeling good? Feeling good? Okay, you rest. I'm going to put you back in the third quarter for another drive. Then we're taking you out. Okay, that's the beauty of the situation here. Okay, it's like, I mean, it's like the thing is, it's I don't know. I mean, because what happened with the Giants, with the Eagles and the Cowboys in the draft, with Kadarius Toney and DeVonta Smith and all that, Shane and Dable weren't here. Some of these players weren't here. It doesn't really mean a heck of a lot to them. I mean, it's like, are we trying to help the Cowboys out, or do we want to try to, help the Eagles or hurt the Eagles? I mean, but basically you go out there to play to win the game. And the Giants are going to go out there and play and win the game, try to win the game. Okay, now, if we can go here for a second. Now, Jalen Hurts was limited again in practice, right? I saw this on bleedinggreennation.com. They just, my skin crawls thinking, about watching something from the Eagles. I almost want to vomit. You know what I mean? Well, we got the Philadelphia Eagles issued their second official injury report on Thursday in advance of their Week 18 game against the Giants. This was the Eagles' first real practice of the week after previously holding a walkthrough on Wednesday. The big news is that Jalen Hurts was again listed under limited participation. So it doesn't seem this as simple as Hurts being 100% ready to play. That being said, all indications are that Hurts is taking the first team reps in practice this week. Hurts' teammates have indicated they believe he's on track to suit up. Right. The Eagles have one final practice remaining on Friday. If Hurts is upgraded to full go and is listed without a game status, well, he's clearly going to play. We'll see if that's the case. Now, it could wind up being, I mean, the way it was, in a few weeks ago in Jersey, right? I mean, the Eagles were up 24-3, right? I certainly don't want to say they had the game in hand, but you're up 24-3, right? I mean, maybe they rest them. Maybe they put them in there for after the third quarter. They're still up 27-3 or something, whatever, whatever the case might want to be, I just put them down, right? Rest them, right? So, well, I'd be interested to see. Very, very interesting to see. All right. But as I said, there was 3 other players who were listed under limited participation due to non-resting reasons: Miles Sanders, Sean Bradley, and Janoris Robinson. Sanders figures to play against the Giants, but his workload may be limited as he deals with a knee injury that caused him to wear a brace last week. Bradley is seemingly being managed to get to Sunday. And then Robinson, who has been a healthy scratch and has not played a regular season snap in his career, is suddenly dealing with ankle injury. So Robinson is a prime candidate to go on injury reserve to free up a roster spot. I don't know. I don't know why Robinson is on their roster and he's never played a regular season snap in his career. But they did have 3 guys who did not participate. Josh Sweat, okay. Lane Johnson, the right tackle, who does not seem to be, he's the guy who hasn't given up a sack in like almost 3 years. Freaking phenomenal. What a freaking talent that guy is. Lane Johnson, Hall of Famer. And then they got Kelsey, their center. I believe he's a Hall of Famer as well, too. And then they had Jason Peters, who was on their offensive line. He was their left tackle, right? He's been banged up the past 4 or 5 years or whatever, but I believe he's a Hall of Famer too. So, one of the reasons why the Eagles are so good is they basically had 3 like Hall of Famers on their offensive line, right? And Avonte Maddox, those 3 guys that did not participate. Okay, so, the Eagles are, let me see, did they update it or not? I got mangameslost.com. Let's see. Now, I know the Eagles were they were number 4 last week. Okay. Let's see here let's see if they updated it. No, they didn't update it. Let's see here. My account. Oh, I gotta log in. Oh, log in. But they were last week. They were number 4 from the bottom. I mean, as far as okay, it's still the same thing. Yeah, the Giants are tied for number 3. Is most games lost, man games lost due to injury. They're tied with Arizona. Giants. I mean, this is not after. It's not including last, but this should be updated almost at any time. This could be updated. All right. So it's not including last week, but going into last week's game, all right, the Giants were tied for 3rd with Arizona. Tennessee is the worst. Tennessee is 281 man games missed due to injury. No wonder why they're as bad as they are. And another one of the reasons why Jacksonville looks like they might win the division is because they have by far the fewest guys missed or games missed due to injury. They've only missed 66 games, man games missed due to injuries. 66. The Titans have 281 man games missed due to injury. But the Eagles were number 29. The Eagles have only missed 120 before last week. Okay. There were 123 man games missed due to injury all season long. So that's another one of the reasons why I keep harping on this all year long. The Eagles basically have had, very few guys injured. Okay. Now that they've had some guys injured, right? And, quarterback. You can cry all you want about having your starting quarterback injured, right? Because I know some of the Eagles, fans, because I'm about 25 minutes from Philadelphia, so I hear a lot, unfortunately. But they want to cry about their quarterback. Well, let's go to San Francisco. They're on their 3rd string quarterback. Okay, so why don't the Eagles go to their 3rd string quarterback and see how many games they want to win? Okay, so their top quarterback has been injured. Okay, and they're 0-2. Right, Hurts is out. Minshew mania, past 2 games, 0-2. Okay, so they're not looking too good. So now they're finally their star right tackle is injured. Their quarterback is injured. Right? Are they winning games? Nope. Right? So the Eagles are starting to come back down to earth a little bit due to the injuries that they have. Okay, and they're starting to get some guys injured. Josh Sweat. He got injured. I don't know if he's going to be playing at all the rest of the season, but he got injured last week. That was a big injury for him. So they're starting to get some injuries. Okay, and they're looking, they're looking a little, not as dominant as they were in the beginning of the season when they were winning all those games. They have a very good top to the bottom offense, defense. They got their weaknesses on a little on offense. They got some weaknesses on defense. Okay. But all around, their offensive line, phenomenal. The good tight end, 2 good wide receivers. Sanders, good, solid running back. Nothing's unbelievable. Because I said, let's not, it's, everything's all relative, right? If you got a good offensive line, your running backs look good, right? Right? You start gaining a couple extra yards. Why? Because you got holes. If you have no holes, you ain't got nowhere to run. Guess what? You don't gain yardage. Okay, so it's all relative, right? The good offensive line helps the running game, right? So when the running game's going, actually, what's that going to do? It's going to help out the passing game, right? Why? Because they got to help, worry more about the running game. Maybe put another guy in the box or worry more, right? So that helps the passing game. When you got some good wide receivers out there, what's that do? That helps out the running game, right? So everything's all relative, right? So, DeVonta Smith is looking a little bit better. Why? Well, because he's got Brown on the other side. Brown's looking a little bit better maybe on his side. Why? Because he's got DeVonta Smith on, right? They're looking good. Why? Because Jalen Hurts can stand in the pocket sometimes for an hour and a half without getting touched. Why? Because they got a good offensive line. Sanders gets some good rushing yards. Why? Well, because, they got to the defense has got to worry about, in the secondary with DeVonta Smith and Brown and Goddard out there running around, right? So that leaves, some running lanes, right? So, it's all all tied together, right? But when some of that starts falling apart, right, like last week, they scored 10 freaking points last week. Backup quarterback, they scored 10 points. Their only touchdown was I think it was a 78-yard pass. Minshew Mania to Brown, 78 yards. That was the only touchdown they scored all day. That was it, right? So they start getting a little bit injured, right? When you got a bunch of studs in your first string, right? That means the backups. You got to pay Ndamukong Suh there, and you just go on and Bradbury and Slay and DeVonta Smith and Brown and Hurts and Sanders and your offensive line, all these guys. That means your backups may not be that phenomenal, right? Because you can't pay for good backups, right? So if the Eagles start getting injured, right, they're going to start, right? They're going to start coming back down to earth again. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles do with Hurts. Is it mean more to them to win this week and to try and get a bye? Because they win, they get the bye. It's not, well, we got to win and we got to hope these other three things. No, if they win, they got the bye. Okay, plain and simple. So is it better for Hurts to get in there and play and win and then, and risk getting injured again? Right? Or they want to try to win with Minshew, rest Hurts, right? And that's why even if they do lose in it, they don't get the number one spot. They have to play in the playoffs the following week. Well, Hurts will be a week better, a week more rested, shall we say. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, the Giants, okay, they have, obviously, they got their injury report, all right? Now they got Giants return to practice on Wednesday, all right, against the Philadelphia Eagles, and did so a bit light. In addition to Dexter Lawrence, who was given a Veterans Day rest, Leonard Williams, John Feliciano, Azeez Ojulari were all sidelined. However, the news on Adoree Jackson was a bit more positive. Head coach Brian Daboll said he would do a little bit more than he had last week, but he didn't commit to him playing on Sunday. So, in fact, Daboll did not commit to anyone playing against the Eagles. He said the decision likely won't be made until Friday evening. So I think he was talking about in one of his press conferences. I said that after practice Friday, him and Shane are going to go sit down or whatever, have a meeting and talk about who's going to play and who's not going to play. Right now, we've got the Giants' full injury report is guys who did not participate. All right, was Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari, Feliciano, and Dexter Lawrence. Okay. Limited in practice was Adoree Jackson, and full participant was Xavier McKinney. Okay. So now the depth chart. Let's go to the depth chart here. All right. So we got the starting guys. All right. So he plans. We're starting Daniel Jones. Okay. So it's it is what it is, guys. If Daniel Jones winds up getting hurt, Daboll winds up looking like a fool. It is what it is, right? But, you come into these games to play the games, to win the game, right? So, then we have Saquon. All right, Saquon. I would put him on a pitch count. He's been, he's had a lot of touches this season. Okay, it's a long season. This is the last game, and we're going to have at least one additional game. Okay, so by far, this will wind up being, well, not by far, but he's played in every game, right? He's had a lot of touches, been hit a lot, right? So he's going to have, this is going to be 18-game season for him. I would certainly put him in there because you don't want him to take a week off and then come back in the playoffs, right? So I would certainly. Breida would be the main cog this week, without question. I would get Barkley in there without. I mean, say the Giants get 60 offensive snaps. Okay, I would give at least half of them to Breida. Okay, I would maybe give 15 to 20 to Barkley, and I would give the other 10 or so. You got want to get Brightwell in there, get him some touches as well too. Okay, because I mean, if anything should happen, you want Brightwell to have some, have some touches under his belt. Okay. So, I mean, I would go like 30, 20, 10, 3, 2, 1. half the game I would give to Breida, right? I mean, he looked really good last week at the end of the game, right? He had a couple nice runs, got the first down, did the smart thing. What did he do? Gave him the ball, good hard running, especially on the one. I think he was like being tackled or was he at the line of scrimmage or just behind the line of scrimmage? Broke a couple of tackles or something or whatever, and got the first down. But there was another one. He went and he broke outside, got good yardage, got down inbounds, held the ball, first down, keep the clock running. Huge. You don't run out of bounds. And he made an effort, a huge effort. He was a few yards from the sideline. But he was running and looked like, somebody might try to push him out of bounds. I'm like, no, he got his ass down on the turf, in bounds, kept the clock running. Huge, very smart play. But I mean, I would give a good share to Breida. He's relatively fresh, hasn't touched the ball a whole ton this year. Same thing with Brightwell. Let's keep Barkley, maybe get him a few runs, maybe throw him a few passes or so, but I would give a lion's share to Breida this week. Darius Slayton, he's playing. Hodgins, he's playing. Richie James is playing. Bellinger's playing. Andrew Thomas. I mean, as far as I know, there's nothing really big time going on there with him. Now, the thing is here, if Feliciano, with his, let's see, what does he got? His back, Now, that's going to be interesting to see. Because what you could do, all right, now Gates sometimes struggles at guard, If we got Thomas at left tackle, get Bredesen in there at left guard, move Gates over to center, give Feliciano the week off, You're not really losing anything, right? If you got Gates in there, actually, you might even be picking something up. Gates sometimes does a decent job at center, I think he does better at center than he does at left guard anyway. But I would maybe give Feliciano the week off if he's got a problem, or if it looks like a week's rest and he might be good to go in the playoff game. I might think about doing something like that. That way, you have left tackle, you have Andrew Thomas, left guard, you have Bredesen. Give Gates the center, right? The nod at the center position. You got Glowinski at right guard, and you got Evan Neal at right tackle, right? I said you got Glowinski and you got Evan Neal. So, as far as I know, if you've played the whole season as well as Neal, Glowinski, Feliciano, there's something wrong with you. Basically, you got a nick, you got a bump. I'm sorry. You probably have several nicks. You have several bumps. You got many bruises. You got things that are paining you that won't heal up. Whether it's a bruised thigh or whether it's your back or whatever. If you played this many snaps, you played 16 games in the NFL plus some in the preseason, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt in someplace, But, as far as being like on the injury list or anything like that, none of those guys except Feliciano. So I would think about maybe possibly giving Feliciano the week off if it would help him out that much. Put Gates in at center, and give Feliciano off. But in that, I said I would maybe think about with Feliciano. And I said, Barkley, I would put him on a pitch count, because, we could use a fresh Barkley. I said, don't sit him, but put him in there, for a handful of snaps, 15, 20 snaps. But it'll be interesting to see what they wind up doing. Now we go to the defense, right? All right, so we got, let's see, Leonard Williams. I wouldn't play him at all. I would give him, I would give him the week off. He's never going to be totally healed from what I'm reading until after the season's over with. Hopefully he'll be good to go from I'm reading, what I'm listening to. Or from reports that I'm reading. He ain't going to heal up until the off season. So even if you give him a week off, he's still going to have a neck problem for when the playoffs come. But I would rest him. I would rest him. I heard it's a painful, it's a serious neck injury. It's painful. The guy wants to play. I would definitely rest him. Because if he goes in there against the player, if he has a tough game against the Eagles, maybe he hurts his neck again. Then he goes in the playoff game. Maybe he plays 10 snaps and he has to come out. Why? Because his neck is injured. Yeah. So I would not put him in there. Same thing with Azeez Ojulari. He only played 7 snaps. Okay, last week. His ankle is, it's nothing more exciting than having a healthy. Once again, the guy can't stay healthy, right? He's had a very rough year. Okay, Azeez, lots of injuries, but nothing more exciting than Azeez on one side and Kayvon on the other. And with that, I would love nothing more than have the two of them on the field, see what they can do, and knock the crap out of the Eagles. But I would give Azeez another week off, and have him getting rested and ready to go for the playoff game. I wouldn't put him on the field. I mean, we got other guys who can take his position, right? Maybe not do as good of a job as him, but I would, without question, I would give him the week off. I put Dexter Lawrence in there. Obviously, have him play. I mean, whoever, you got Justin Ellis, Mondo, Jihad Ward, Ryder Anderson, Kayvon Thibodeau. I put him in there. Toman Fox, Jalen Smith, Carter Coughlin, I put him in there. Micah McFadden, Landon Collins. Yep, they're playing. Oshane Ximines. Yep, absolutely. Holmes, McLeod, Julian Love. Yep, Xavier McKinney. You want to get him some more reps, obviously, because he was very tired. He said after the game last week, right? So he needs to get his football legs underneath him. So I would obviously get him out there, right? Fabian Moreau, yeah, he's out there. Jefferson, Holmes, yeah, all those guys. Pinnock, absolutely. Many guys you can get out there as possible. Yeah, you want to keep them going, right? And just obviously, hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully, nobody gets injured, right? But I mean, I would definitely, without a doubt, I would put I would Z's. Nah. The question would be with Adoree Jackson. That would be the one thing I would, if he's able to go. And I'm sure no matter what, he's not going to be 100%, right? But if the plan is to get him in there for the playoff game, okay, which would be huge, especially it doesn't matter if we're playing the 49ers or who are playing, doesn't matter, right? Or whether it's if we're going up against the Vikings. I mean, we want to have somebody go up trying to be able to cover Jefferson, right? Because he had 12 or 13 receptions against the Giants. He had 12, and Hockenson had 13, or Hockenson had 12, and Jefferson had 30. They had 25 receptions between the two of them. Well, you want to get, Adoree on the field covering one of those guys. Well, not one of them. I mean, trying to cover Jefferson. But I said, what happened with Xavier McKinney last week? He played a bunch of plays, but he was tired afterwards. So he's got to get his football legs underneath him. So that helped him last week. It's going to be a tough game against the Eagles. I mean, they got some good wide receivers, right? So that's going to be a good challenge for him. So that's going to help him once again get his football legs underneath him. Same thing with Adoree Jackson. I mean, if he can, I'm not saying to put him in there the whole game or maybe even half the game. I would put him in there, for, I said, get him in there for a drive in the first half and maybe a drive in the second or something, whatever. Get him in there for a couple of drives, get something, because I mean, you can, and then if you don't put him in there now and you just throw him into the fire. If we're playing the Vikings, right, against Tony Jefferson, Jerry Jefferson, they're receivers. Okay, you just throw him in the fire there, and he doesn't have his football leg. I mean, because he's been out for a while. Okay, he needs some work. Okay, so if you don't have him, getting him some reps, you hurt yourself. So if he can possibly go, I would get him in there for 10, 15 snaps, something, anything. I mean, obviously, maybe not too much where you don't want to have him hurt himself. Certainly don't want him returning any punts, but I would definitely put him on the field for at least a couple series, because if you can get him out there, that's only going to help you when the playoffs roll around. Okay, but I mean, everybody else, I would play. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing more going out there and just trying to beat up on an opponent the Eagles. Now, of course, then the problem is that the if if you beat the Eagles, you're helping out the Cowboys. If you lose to the Eagles, you're helping the Eagles, but you're hurting the Cowboys. So let's not also forget the Cowboys got to go into Washington, okay, and play the Commanders. Now the Commanders usually play the Cowboys tough. Okay. Usually it seems like every year the Commanders beat the Cowboys, seems like at least once. Okay. They didn't beat them earlier. Okay. The Cowboys won. So, the Cowboys have a lot to play for. The Cowboys can even theoretically get the number one spot. Okay. Minnesota can't, obviously. Tampa Bay can't. There's 3 teams that can get the number one seed. I believe it is. Let me see here. I got it here. Nope, not there. I got so many tabs open. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay, the Eagles, if the Eagles win, or where are we at? There we go. If the Eagles get the number one seed, okay. If the Cowboys, if the Eagles win, they're number one, okay. Or if they were to lose, okay, they could still be the number one seed if the Cowboys and the 49ers lose. All right, then the Eagles are right. The Eagles are still number one. The 49ers can become the number one seed if 49ers win. They're playing the Cardinals, so that's a good possibility. They're at home against the Cardinals, the 4-12 Cardinals. Okay, so. The Cardinals have got a backup quarterback in there. They have nothing to play for. They're 4-12. They have a horrible season. Certainly doesn't mean they're guaranteed to lose, but it's looking like, the 49ers got a lot to play for. So, and by the way, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the 49ers are all going to be playing at 4:30, all playing at the same time, okay? So it's not like the Eagles are playing at 1 and the 49ers know that the Eagles won and the 49ers don't have to worry about winning or nothing like that. No, they're all playing at the same time. Okay. But if the 49ers win and the Eagles lost, the 49ers are the number one seed. All right. Then the Cowboys, okay, which this would be huge for them because if they can wind up winning at least the division, they have a home game. Okay. If they don't win a division, they got to go on the road and play their playoff games. Okay, so their first one, I think as of right now, I think they're playing the Bucks. Now the Bucks have not had a phenomenal season by any stretch of imagination. However, in week 1, the Bucks went into Dallas and beat the Cowboys. I think it was 19-3. The Cowboys didn't even score. I don't even think scored a touchdown. I could be wrong, but I do know the Bucks went into Dallas week 1 and just shut down the Cowboys. Right, the Buccaneers don't really have a phenomenal offense. They didn't have a phenomenal offense against the Cowboys. I mean, they didn't have wasn't a phenomenally a fantastic offensive game. Let me tell you that much. But the Bucs went into Dallas and beat them. So if the Cowboys do not win the division, that's looking like that they're going to want to play, and it will be the Bucs in week 1 on the road and be playing in Tampa. And of course, every game is different. I get that. But Tom Brady is 7-0 in his career against the Cowboys. Okay. And he's going to be playing at home. Right. So, but the Cowboys can clinch number 1. The number 1 overall, which would give them a bye and, right, which would be huge for them. Okay. I mean, they have to win. The Eagles have to lose and the 49ers have to lose. But that would be huge because then they're number 1. They get a bye, and then every game they have 2. They have to win the first playoff game, but that would be at home. Then if they win the first, they would get the championship game. That would be in Dallas as well too. So they would only have to play 2 playoff games to get to the Super Bowl, and they would both be in Dallas. So that would be absolutely huge. Okay, so to play or not to play, that's the question. As I said, whoever, all hands on deck. I'll get as many guys in there as we could. Right. If it gets out of hand, like it did. Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago when the Eagles came to Jersey, and I mean, it was like what was it 24-3.5? It was like 21-0, like in the first quarter. It's like, what the hell's going on here? What? I mean, it's just, I mean, that's a good possibility. That could easily happen if the Eagles come into New Jersey and just totally kill the Giants. I mean, just destroy them, and they do that in Jersey. Well, they can do the same thing in Philly. I mean, if the Giants aren't careful, the same thing can happen in Philadelphia, right? So if that winds up happening, then I would just start playing. I would just start pulling. I mean, like if the Giants are down like 37-7, like halfway through the third quarter or something like that, and there's like no way in heck the Giants are coming back, right? I would just put Tyrod Taylor in there. I would just start putting backups in there. I would sit Saquon. We'll see in the playoffs, buddy, because we don't need this game. You know what I mean? But yeah, obviously you go to win the game, right? But I said there's a point in time, right, where the game is over. You're down by 30 points halfway through the third quarter. You're not coming back. It's over. All right. Just start pulling the guys. All right. You know, go sit down. Have a great season. We made the playoffs. We're going to need you well rested for whoever we're playing in the playoffs, right, the following week. So, which as of right now, looks like there's a good chance it's going to be the Vikings. So, but that's not set in stone. All right. But, you know, that's what I would wind up doing. You know, I said Leonard Williams wouldn't play. Azeez Ojulari would not play. Saquon would be on a pitch count. Okay. Maybe 20 snaps or so. Adoree Jackson, if he can, I would get him in there for at least a couple series, maybe not the whole game, right? Because you don't want to aggravate his knee or anything like that. But I would definitely get him in there, especially against some good quality wide receivers. Get him in there, right? Get a little bit of some legs back, so that way when we go up again on the road and we do play in playoffs, right? He has a little bit of legs underneath him. Okay. I said, and let's see, Feliciano, if possible, maybe sit him, put Gates in at center. Okay. And I said, put Saquon on a pitch count. But I said, other than that, I would full hand on deck, all hands on deck. I mean, I said, if you can beat the Eagle, man, that'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Especially if they get Gardner Minshew in there. Right. I mean, I'm certainly not saying, I mean, you know, that even Gardner Minshew's in there, right? The Giants are gonna win. But you know, with Gardner Minshew in there, he did not look good at all last week against the Saints. I mean, did not look good at all. So I mean, maybe the Giants might take a little page out of what the Saints did. Okay, but it'd be interesting to see, because I mean, I said that's what I would do. The thing is, you don't know if Hurts is going to be playing or not. Right, so that'd be interesting to see. But you know, rest those few guys, right? And other than that, all hands on deck. If we start getting blown out, because we're not blowing them out, that's not happening. We might win by blowing. If I wind up winning, it might be like 10 points or something. If by double digits, we ain't blowing them out. If they start blowing us out, just start pulling our guys. Right, season's over. Start pulling your guys, and you know, get them ready for the playoffs. Well, guys, it's been 43 minutes. Shoot my mouth off. Anybody spent any time at all watching any of this? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely rock. Or if anybody spends any time at all watching any part of the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely rock. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.